Hello guys and gals. I have to laugh at myself. I do look like a nice cue ball, but it's not so much that I look like a cue ball, it's the rest of me that's smooth. Man, what a change that is. I'm not used to being this smooth. Um, that's what I prefer normally, but I've just gone to just shaving, with an electric razor. But you know, I don't know. I don't know why the change, but I have to laugh at myself if you don't mind. Sorry. I love just getting off the subject a little bit, but I decided, you know what, maybe I'll make another video on some retro gaming. I did play Doom Eternal, then not long after that, Resident Evil 3 came out. I beat that, of course, on the easiest mode. I guess it's not the hardest to beat on the easiest mode, but it's still fun. Um, I've said, and I'll always say for a billion times that one of the things I love about today's new games are that they're new, that I shouldn't even say that new. In other words, what I'm saying is they have this easy mode. And the reason I enjoy that for a few reasons, one of the things that I do enjoy about this easy mode is that it's appealing to anybody. So, I remember back in the day when for example, like an RTS game or an RPG game. I mean, a genre was a genre. It was a straight genre, and it was generally for people who um, played those kinds of games and enjoyed those kinds of games. And that was that type of thing. But that's the way it was. You know what? I'm going to turn the fan down just a little bit. So, all right, excuse me. That should have to do that for now. It should be fine. Every little thing bothers me. If something's just not right, I just can't focus. So that's good for now. Um, I've been I started playing Resident Evil again because as you probably know, if I haven't said it, I love Resident Evil games. I probably have. I'm also a big fan of Doom. Um, I was a little disappointed in Doom. It's not. I don't know. I mean, as you probably know by now, it seems like you procure and do the glory kills, which are pretty cool. But the problem is, it just doesn't seem like Doom. But I mean, it is what it is for the time being. Um, but for now, I mean, it is okay. It's not a bad game. If you enjoyed Doom 2016, you'll probably enjoy this one even more. It's got even more of everything. Um, but it was a decent game. I'd like to get a review on it more when I play it more. Same thing with Resident Evil 3, um, especially Resident Evil 3, so that so I can say that this has changed and that's changed. I like how they kept some of the music in it, uh, put some puns or some certain things toward Resident Evil 2 and 3. Um, I like what they did with Brad particularly. Uh, that's changed. I'll talk about that later. And even Marvin is in the game. They decided to put Marvin in there. Um, I was hoping Marvin Marvin's character, and there's some I'd like to maybe make a video of. There's so many questions that begs about his, especially in the first one, the original one. He got hurt, and then it's like, hey, what happened to the guy? And there was never any explanation. Um, you kind of have a better hint in the remake of the second one, and then you also have this one, which gives you, I won't spoil it for now, but it gives you an idea of what happened to him. Now, because the game released today's only 5 days ago, I'm just gonna be like, I'm just not gonna say any spoilers for now, but I want to wait till I really enjoy the game. I want to. I love it. I'm gonna play it on easy for a little while until I get an idea of. I think I could probably beat it on normal or standard, but I'm gonna play it on easy for a little bit till I get the good thing about that. Going back to that is, I'm kind of jumping here around, but like I said, with easy back in the day, um, or now that you can play a game, anyone can play a game who's never played this genre before. Whereas back in the day, if you didn't really play this genre, then it was all new to you. It wasn't. You could learn it. You could learn any game, but it wasn't something you could get up and start playing right away because it had a learning curve. But you know, now it goes so that way you can enjoy the game, and that's why I play it. So not only can I enjoy the game and enjoy the scenery, but also I can take all the game in and absorb it all instead of just feeling like I'm trying to just get through it to survive. I think that's where the harder skill levels come in handy. And once again, Capcom at least pulls it off, like a lot of other game companies where um, Resident Evil 3 is easy to pick up and play. If you've never played, Resident Evil or something before, you can pick it up and play it, and it's great. So do yourself a favor if you like shooters or survival horror games, definitely pick this game up. Um, on that note, Doom, on the other hand, was not very easy, even though I played it on the easiest skill level. Um, there was so many times I died. Monsters they just jump at you and just hammer on you and, surround you and stuff like that. It was, it was positive that if you haven't seen the reviews, it's a little bit of a spoiler, but that the double shotgun has been upgraded with this hook that you can pull on monsters and shoot them, and I think that's what a lot of people are doing. But I just love to play Doom the old-fashioned way. Uh, Excuse me, and I just mean with guns. And I kind of wish it was that way again, but I'm not sure. Like I said, I have to be honest. I think it'd be cool if maybe they did alternate storylines, but I mean, if this is the direction that they want to go in, I'm not gonna. I'm gonna support them still because it's still a game. Like I said, I was pretty kind of disappointed because at least in the first one, Doom 2016, it felt like it's still, at least on easy mode, it still had that uh, Doom Doom vibe to it, where you could generally kill monsters with your guns. But I mean, it went from there. It was different. I thoroughly enjoyed Doom 3. I'm a huge fan of Doom 3 to this day. But I mean, it went from there, and maybe people liked it, maybe they didn't. I remember reading a review saying that they thought it was too much like Call of Duty, so it's, once again, people might be getting stuck up in these Call of Duty numbers, and, there goes the game. I remember that's what happened to Resident Evil, apparently 5 and apparently 6. I still have to play those games, um, but that's what Capcom even admitted to is, everything's multiplayer now, and it's like, not really. A lot of people still love getting lost in those single player experiences. Why do you think those games do well? I mean, that's what brought the industry up. Um, but getting back to Resident Evil, um, it was a great game. It has a lot to do with, it was generally a remade of the original. There's a lot of similarities, a lot of things that changed, um, especially with the Nemesis. Um, he seems a little tougher now, honestly, but it's pretty cool that um, he's even tough. And spoiler alert, he does drop things when you defeat him. But apparently, now I don't know how true this is, but I heard from one person it happened 4 times. Which, you know, in assisted, which is the easiest mode, it's like, look, I'm just trying to stop this guy, and I was just shooting with whatever I had, and it turned out that I just got some stuff. I won't even tell you what they are, but one thing is really handy. Um, but I will say that it's a great game. And I started, like I said, I started playing it, and I'm probably going to go through it a few times. And like I said, then I might give a review on it, and then I might give a review for Doom. Um, as always, I like to blub. And, I look at the games that are coming out this year, and it kind of looks slim. But I will say that, you can always find these games in between uh, that come out digitally. Like I said, Command and Conquer is coming out remastered, but it doesn't actually. Uh, I haven't heard any more news about it. I haven't checked into it, but I'll look into that sometime. It's not big on my list because it's coming out on the PC, but it's it happens when it happens. As a matter of fact, I should have looked that up, but it just gives me another reason to have another video. I'll look it up for next time. Um, but I wanted to say this, that I was thinking, and I'm thinking about it, and I always want answers. I don't want speculations. And I remember having that when we had that conversation, me and that guy, about retro games. I still love retro games. I guess the truth of it is I'm just attached. I just love games, and I'm gonna one day I'm just gonna look into it and do research about it, and I mean meet all the people who made our industry what it is today. Those people. Unfortunately, it's always after they die, after years, and then people start taking an interest in it. I want to do that now before they're all dead, before a lot of them pass away, and some already have. So, um, and then find other anything to do with gaming. I just love it. Love the industry. I probably always will, because it always gives you the freedom to create things that other people enjoy and then remember for the rest of their lives. Uh, but with retro games, and like I said, I'm guilty. I'll probably always be guilty of loving games and finally getting to play them when I can get to them. But um, the debate was that I had mentioned how good they were, and he had said oh well that's because people have an attachment to it, and like in my heart of hearts I'm thinking that's true, but I'm starting to question why people are going back to them, why people are discovering these games that are old and no one cares about, quote unquote, and or some people would think, they're old, no one cares about them, and it's like, but why are they popular then? Why are people going to them? Is there might be obviously more than one factor. I mean, for me, I can say that I'm going to them because a lot of them I never played and I want to play them. But is it just that? I've heard many people say that the reason they feel people play games are because they're good. They argue that games are not what they used to be, and that people are going back to the past to play good games because they've changed. The industry has changed. And when many people say that, and in fact, that's the number one thing I've heard about why people think retro games are popular again, it just makes you wonder, is it true? Is it possible? Can we discount it? You know, his argument at the start was, oh, well, the graphics. Well, I mean, come on now. I don't think apples and oranges here. I don't think you can really look at it that way. If you're looking at graphics, of course, you can never look back. But it makes me wonder if that's the truth. And because I've always felt different things about this industry. I felt it's gone in directions that are kind of gimmicky, directions that, like, for example, and I'll never knock this, but I mean the esports. You know what I mean? Totally play games, just play them, and you make money doing that. And that's a direction that a lot of companies have gravitated towards, and it's like, that's not what the industry started out as, or that's not what you know uh, that's not why people play video games generally. They play them because they like them. uh, I'll never knock that. you know I'll never say that there's anything wrong with it, because the thing of it is, I mean, it is what it is. People play them. Oh, God, I remember when I was playing games more than some of those esporters. I've heard one guy said you should play at least 8 hours a day, and he's probably right. I agree with that, because I remember when I played one particular game, and I was generally unbeatable, and I was not to toot my own horn, but I was, you know, playing a lot of hours every day. I hate to even say how much, but I was also a lot younger then, when you could have that amount of time and less responsibilities and things like that. But you know, the thing of it is, games are always about passion, and the people who support them are always going to be the people who love them, and the people who enjoy them, and the people who grew up with them. And I feel that sometimes the game industry forgets who they are and what kind of games they like. And I feel that their general gaming is the games that you can get lost into, because that's what games were. And I feel that the industry might have forgotten about those people. And the thing of it is, the truth of it is, those are the ones who are supporting the industry the most. And if anything, excuse me, were to change, if, for example, esports would fade away, or, you know, even these big multiplayer games would fade away, the game industry would still be here. So, with people like me just loving it what it is, and that's the end of that. That's where it started, and that's where it'll always be, because as they call them, I've heard the term core gamer or hardcore gamer, um, which, from what I understand, is someone who buys games because they love to. They'll buy multiple games a year. They call them the core gamer, or the hardcore gamer. Um, but um, that's where we'll be. And like I said, getting back to the retro games, I'm wondering if maybe that's why people, are going back. They're going back because that's what they want. Good, old-fashioned, let me get lost in it games. And people who haven't played those games are trying them for the first time. This is a very broad question, so if you want to, like, as they say, like, comment, and subscribe, um, but basically comment on this video and tell me what your opinion is. I think, I always ask these broad questions that need a lot of research, a lot of proof, but, I'd love to hear what people have to say. Because like I said, I've heard many people from the retro community say that, people are just going back to these games because they're good. And maybe the guy at the store was right. Maybe it's because we feel a connection to them. And there's some truth to that. But on the other hand, I've played games that I played years ago, and I was like, wow, this isn't as good as I remember it. But I think as a kid, your mind, like, like Disneyland, it's just everything is perfect, and you think of all the exciting things. But as someone who's open to older games, going back to some games, it is hard. Some games honestly haven't aged well, but they are what they are. I mean, I'll play any game, from Atari, and you know how Atari is. So heard a lot of people say they just can't play Atari because it's so graphically, uh, I guess inferior per se, especially to the Nintendo. But you have to understand. I mean, that came out, in '77, and also, um, effect is that, it's obviously not as advanced as Nintendo, so you had, very little, uh, you had, you know, very little to work with, but still, I mean, I think you have to really approach those things with an open mind. I think you also have to, a lot of people had to grow up back then, but I mean, I look at it and I go, hey, it is what it is. I know that if I was a kid and I would have had it, I would have loved playing it. So, but what's your opinion? What do you have to say? Do you think people are attached, or do you think, people, part of it's true? Do you think people are reverting back to these games because they think that the industry is going in, a bad direction? Uh, so I'd love to hear your thoughts. Um, like I said, a lot of research have to be done. I always like to ask these big questions, but I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope, well, I'd really like to hear your opinion on it. I really love opinions because I love talking to people, but I hope you enjoy it. I hope you have a great day, and hope you enjoy Doom, or I'm thoroughly enjoying Resident Evil. After I'm done this video, I'm going to start playing it again. And remember to rate, quote unquote, comment especially, and subscribe. And take care and have a great day.